Go.
All right. Hi, folks. Tim Sundles here with my absolutely beautiful, wonderful wife, Kim, doing the filming. We had to start over because on the first take, I forgot to say I had my absolutely wonderful, beautiful wife, Kim, here doing the filming.
That's not true. He misspoke. But anyway.
So she's here doing the filming. That's probably a good thing. 475 Linebaugh and 480 Rugers. Really want to talk about them. They are not, the 475 Linebaugh is not my go-to cartridge for stopping big bears. I use a 500 Linebaugh or a 500 JRH. However, I have used 475 Linebaughs, and there's no fly in the ointment. They'll kill big things with a plum if you use proper ammo. And that's one of the things that I'm finding more and more with shooters. I mean, most shooters are entry level, or they're not. I mean, there's so much to know, and unless you've spent a whole lifetime doing it like I have, and I still know less than I know. I mean, it's impossible to know everything. But these 475s work really well on big game. I've used them. And let me show you some of the guns I have, the ammo I carry in them, and why. And I'm just gonna start over here with the blued guns. I don't carry these blued guns as much because I'm really hard on my guns. I mean, I don't like throw them off cliffs or anything, but I do neglect them. They get rained on, they stay wet. I don't care. I don't have time to baby my guns. They're a tool. This is a Bowen Nimrod. And Hamilton Bowen made this for me a long time ago, over 30 years ago. The stocks are bighorn sheep, which these days are illegal to make into handgun stocks. Don Mihalovic made these for me, and he was Elmer Keith's gunsmith. And Mihalovic was a bit younger than Keith, so when I moved to Salmon 35 years ago, Mihalovic was still doing business, and I was taking him these early 475s and 500s that Linebaugh, Bowen, Clements, Jack Huntington, these guys were making for me, and he was putting custom stocks on them. This is a David Clements 475. It's pointed differently than the Bowen. You know, the Bowen's got the 5.5 inch barrel with the barrel band, and this is just a straight 6 inch barrel. And of course it has Mihalovic bighorn sheep grips on it too. I would say the workmanship is equal. I don't know which one's better than the other as far as actual fit and finish and mechanical function. They're both just stupendous. I mean, unbelievably good revolvers. Now, let's go to the one I carry the most when I'm carrying a 475. And I don't always carry 475s, but when I do, it's a Freedom Arms Model 83. This one's got the octagonal barrel, and it came with the spare cylinder for 480 Ruger. I bought it used. It came with a box of buffalo bore ammo with 5 rounds missing, and then the gun. And you know what happened. Somebody bought this thing, had it all made with the proper action job and the black micarta and the octagon barrel. Somebody went to a lot of trouble, fired it 5 rounds and said, to hell with this. And they sold it. I bought this in a gun shop, I don't know, 9 or 10 years ago for $1,300 with the spare cylinder, with all the upgrades, and with the 50 round box of ammo. This is the one I carry. I love it. And I carry it, mostly because it's stainless and I can't really rust it and hurt it. But how I carry it, if you look at the ammo, the first 2 rounds that'll be fired are expanding bullets. Those are 400 grain spears. And the last 3 will be hard cast penetrators. And that's just something that's been going on in Africa for well over 100 years. When you're hunting, your first shot is an expanding bullet, or as they call it, a soft. And everything after that is solids, because if you don't kill it with your first shot, it's either running away or running towards you. You're gonna have to penetrate it lengthwise. Everything can go to hell in a handbasket, so when that happens, you want solids. They just penetrate like crazy. My next most carried Freedom Arms, or 475, is also a Freedom Arms. This is a field grade, and it's got Mahalovic sheep grips on it too, but these are doll sheep, not bighorn. And interesting thing about this gun, I was working with Jack Huntington and Bob Baker at Freedom Arms to design the 475 Linebaugh so that it would fit in the smaller Freedom Arms ratchet system. So basically we just made the head smaller. That's all we did. Turn the rim down. So since I was working with Freedom Arms doing that, I said to Bob Baker one day, and you notice I didn't say I was working with John Linebaugh on it. That's because John didn't want the smaller rim on the 475. He wanted the big 4570 rim, which meant you could only use these on a Ruger frame. You could never get them to fit into a Freedom Arms frame. Well, I wanted, if you're gonna come out with a new cartridge, you may as well make it as adaptable as possible to as many models of guns, especially quality guns like Freedom Arms. I mean, everybody complains about how expensive these things are. I think they're worth every penny of it. I take a Dremel tool to mine. They're stainless, so you can't really see, but I take a few rough edges, sharp edges off and stuff, so that under severe recoil, they don't cut my fingers. But other than that, these guns are so superbly made. I mean, if anything, they're made too tight for a field gun. So what I was gonna say about this, I asked Bob Baker, I said, hey, can I get the first one made? And he goes, well, we start a new series with serial number 50. He said, and that will go in our museum. He said, someday we'll have a museum. So number 50 will go there. If you'd like number 51, which would be the second one made, he said, you may have number 51. So this is number 51. It's just kind of cool, just sort of old historical stuff that really doesn't matter if you're shooting a big bear between the eyes. This revolver was so overdue. I don't understand big companies like Ruger. I mean, this is their Super Blackhawk frame, chambered in 480 Ruger. They had people asking for this for a couple of decades. Finally, they did a run of them for Lipsies, because, Lipsies will make a big order at one time. And then what I did, it was chambered in 480 Ruger. But what I decided to do was send it to Jack Huntington and have him just lengthen the chambers to 475 Linebaugh. Not because I wanted the extra power of the Linebaugh or anything like that, but I like versatility in a gun. And if I'm carrying this gun and relying on it, and I can't find 480 Ruger ammo, but I can find a couple of rounds of 475 Linebaugh, I want the gun to be able to shoot both. And so that's why I did that. And in the meantime, there's a guy by the name of Tom Ords. He's a big gun guy. He's in all kinds of big bores and fun guns. He bought this same gun from Lipsies, and he took it to Jack Huntington. And he said, put a 3.5-inch barrel on it, barrel rib, barrel band, do all the real slick, cool stuff. I forget what kind of grips these are. They're some kind of horn. I don't remember. And while you're at it, lengthen the chambers to 475. This one's got a free spinning pawl, so you can spin the cylinder either direction. And so I've had people tell me, well, you shouldn't take a 480 and shoot 475s out of it. Of course, they've never done it. They've never hand loaded for the 480 or the 475, but they've got an opinion. I don't know how many 475 Linebaugh rounds I have fired out of this 480 and out of this 480. I don't know, but it's been entirely safe, and I've had no ill problems. I mean, no extraction issues, no nothing. They just shoot. So you can spare me the lecture on how unsafe that is. Because I've just done a bunch of it and I've had no problems, and that's not very scientific, I know, but I know the pressures that both cartridges operate at, and there's no reason that these Ruger 480s built on the Super Blackhawk frame, there's absolutely no reason that the 5-shot cylinders with the frame are unsafe. None. Now, we're doing this video for probably the third time because my wife talked me into telling you a story of something that was a protected species that I killed one day when I had to, and we decided to delete it from this YouTube video. I've got too many of those stories I'm telling, and I'm afraid, you know, we're getting threats from from people that are most likely paid by their federal operatives threatening me because I'm coming down on Forest Service and U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and all their illegal, all their unethical tactics. I mean, these people break laws at every turn. Their whole existence isn't even constitutional. So I'm backing off a little bit on stories I've told you that some people would say, well, that was illegal. To me, it's not illegal if a big bear charges you and you shoot it. They've somehow made it illegal for you to not report it.
And protect your life.
Yeah, I mean, and that's unconstitutional. The Fifth Amendment says you have the right not to self-incriminate. You can take the Fifth on the stand in court. You can take the Fifth anytime you want. If a federal officer is interviewing you, say, shut up, get out of my face, I'm taking the Fifth, I want a lawyer. And from that moment on, there's not a damn thing they can say. But don't answer their questions. Anyway, we took the story out. We redid this video. But I just had to tell you, we took the story. We had a good story in there.
Good campfire story someday.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later. This revolver sitting here is not part of this, but I want you to see it. This is a Freedom Arms revolver chambered in 500 Wyoming Express with a 50 Action Express cylinder with it. I bought it used. Freedom Arms came out with their own 50 caliber version. It wasn't the 500 Linebaugh, it wasn't the 500 JRH, it was the 50 Wyoming Express. And they doomed it to obsolescence because they only let one ammo maker make the ammo and only one brass maker make the brass. And just before, and you know, the gun, I mean, you can't get ammo for them because you can't get brass for them. If you can't get brass, you can't make ammo. And just before COVID came, I contacted Bob Baker and I said, it's ridiculous that this has been mismanaged so poorly as to be an obsolete cartridge, because your guns are very, very good. That cartridge deserves to ride in your guns. I said, send me a few case samples, send me the drawings, and I'll talk to the folks at Starline and see if they won't make this brass again, maybe just exclusively for me. Maybe if I ordered like 250,000, maybe they would make this brass. And I didn't want to order 250,000 because you can be brass poor overnight. But anyway, COVID hit, interrupted that whole thing. And so we're doing a video next on 500 Linebaughs, 500 JRHs, you know, the 50 caliber packing pistols, the revolvers that are small enough to pack, not giant X-frame Smith & Wessons.
Do you want to pick it up and show it?
It's just a Freedom Arms Model 83, but a 50 caliber. I mean, very, very nicely made, like all Freedom Arms products. I'm waiting for a Ronnie Wells 500 Linebaugh to show up here. And when it does, I'm going to do, it's not my gun, but I saw a Cape Buffalo killed with it a couple months ago. And I just thought, with all the old gun makers like Clements are gone, Bowen's very old, JRH, Jack Huntington, he can't use his hands anymore. I mean, all my contemporaries, they were a little older than me, they're all gone. So I want you to see this Ronnie Wells 500.
And this is why all these stories need to be told.
Yeah, this stuff becomes non-existent in another generation. So now it's immortalized on film. But when I get the Ronnie Wells 500 here, I'm going to line up all my 500s. I have more of those than I have 475s. And we'll go over the 500s and why, for a packing size gun, they are the superior monumental stopper of all of the packing size revolvers. So we'll go over that, folks. I hope you have a great day. God bless, and we will catch you on the next video.